United slip up, Chelsea stick to Haaland, Real eyes Zidane replacement, Messi back in business, and a transfer roundup all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Froelich, you are the OneFootballers, and this is the Daily News. First off, and well, it's not actually unthinkable happening because this is the Premier League this season where absolutely nothing could be predicted. Manchester United looking to return to the top of the table, home against bottom of the table. Absolutely dreadful Sheffield United. So of course, Sheffield United come away with all 3 points. A 2-1 victory meant that Chris Wilder's side are still dreaming of surviving relegation. That's for Manchester United. Well, City sit top of the table. It's a disappointing night for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side, who recently have done so well. They've been such a good run of form, and they managed to get a point at Anfield and then beat Liverpool in the FA Cup. And honestly, you could say that nobody saw this coming, but like I mentioned before, the Premier League is throwing up all sorts of surprises. Anyway, alongside this, there was also an amazing victory for Burnley last night. They beat Aston Villa 3-2. And whilst absolutely nobody was watching that game, because everyone was watching Thomas Tuchel's debut for Chelsea against Wolves, his side managed to grind out a 0-0 draw, and they really kind of lacked penetration in the final third. Wolves weren't exactly bringing much to the table themselves, but did in the end deserve a point. So yeah, like I mentioned, I was one of them. I was so focused on Tuchel and what Chelsea were going to be doing that I completely didn't watch the Burnley against Villa game. And Chris Wood's header meant that Burnley took all 3 points. They'd only scored 5 goals in 8 home games up until last night, so to score 3 in one match is pretty damn impressive. Elsewhere, and in possibly the most boring game of football the Premier League has ever seen, Brighton drew 0-0 with Fulham, and Leicester and Everton picked up a point apiece each. And of course, all the news surrounding Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea in the last few days has meant there's been loads of transfer talk as well, and apparently, despite the fact that they've got rid of Lampard, brought in Tuchel, the Chelsea board are still 100% focused on bringing in Erling Haaland. Now, of course, Tuchel is going to have different ideas, and he'll be able to work that out in the next few weeks, which players he likes, who he wants to get rid of. Of course, there was a big call in dropping Mason Mount, bringing in Kai Havertz and Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. But regardless of everything, through it all, Haaland is the main choice. Now, I don't think any manager is going to complain if the board's like, look, we really want to sign Haaland for 100 million euros. There probably won't be a manager in world football who would complain about that. In fact, John Aldridge, a Liverpool legend, has been suggesting that Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool should definitely be going in for the Norwegian striker too. I'm sure there'll be some sort of battle for his signature at some point, but that's way more likely to happen in the summer or even the following summer than it is in the last few days of the January transfer window. What it would mean though for Thomas Tuchel is that he'd have some more big decisions to make if they were to bring in Haaland, because he said he's a big fan of Olivier Giroud. Of course, he's been tasked with getting Timo Werner back and firing, and there's Tammy Abraham as well, Chelsea's top goal scorer from last season too. So there's a lot of options for Tuchel in attack, and he'll be hoping to impress more of his style on the team that we saw last night. Apparently there was a really good amount of passes in the first half and some good winning back of possession in the final third. At the end of the day though, it was 0-0, not the worst start, possibly not the greatest either. In all credit to him, I'm not taking shots at Tuchel or anything like that. He had one training session to get his team together, so it's very harsh to judge him or that performance. Moving on though, and to Zinedine Zidane and Real Madrid, and apparently the board have, whilst they're being distracted by putting together this fantastic new Bernabeu stadium, that looks insane, eyed up a replacement for Zinedine Zidane should the Frenchman get the sack. He did teeter on, well, quite some difficult times in December. They just made it through in the Champions League. Heading into the new year, they were knocked out of the Copa del Rey. And on top of all of this, they are very far behind City rivals Atletico Madrid when it comes to the La Liga title race. If they fall out of that in the next few months, if they're knocked out by Atalanta in the last 16 of the Champions League, or in all honesty, if they don't make it to the semis, there are serious questions about Zidane, so much so that they're looking at River Plate's Marcelo Gallardo. Now Gallardo, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Is it Gallardo? Gallardo? Anyway, he played for Monaco and PSG during his career, but for the last 6.5 years, he's been at River Plate and doing a fantastic job of it in Argentina. The reason he's been doing so good is that South America is an extraordinarily good exporter of footballers, but because they have different seasons to how they have in Europe, players often leave at different times. This means that Gallardo's job is not only made more amazing, by the fact that he's had to consistently deal with a change in teams. Zinedine Zidane pretty much stuck with the same team at Real Madrid, and now that they've got potential youth coming through, he hasn't exactly been making the most of it. Odegaard's just gone on loan to Arsenal. We haven't seen the best out of the likes of Luka Jovic since he joined, and he let Achraf Hakimi go, who honestly is probably one of the best right wing backs in Europe at the moment, and he's definitely showing it for Inter Milan. So should they want to get rid of Zidane, Gallardo would be a good choice to bring in some of the young players, and also he'd be pretty good at handling the transition in the team. Of course, we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out, and I wouldn't expect any movement on the Zidane front until a few months' time, certainly until we find out how they fare in the Champions League. But talking of Real Madrid, to their biggest rivals, Barcelona, who are back. I say back, they're still kind of trudging along nicely, but Lionel Messi is back. Since serving a suspension for absolutely beating a player, well, not beating, just punching a player in the Spanish Super Cup, he was back last night and contributed a goal and helped in the build-up to the second goal as Barcelona just overcame Rayo Vallecano in the Copa del Rey. Having seen the likes of Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid lose to lower league opposition, Barcelona were determined not to fall to the same fate against the second division side, and despite the fact they went 1-0 down, they managed to turn it around. Messi is back doing messy things. This, of course, Atletico and Real being knocked out, means that Barcelona are overwhelming favourites for the trophy, but the likes of Sevilla will surely have something to say for that after they beat Valencia 3-0. There are a few others in the draw for the quarterfinals as well, with the likes of Levante and Real Betis and a few others too. What this does mean as well as this is that we're seeing the best of Frenkie de Jong. Ronald Koeman said that he is a more complete midfielder than he ever was at Ajax, and it's clearly that playing in this team, playing around these players and at this level is making the Dutchman a better midfielder. He scored a few goals in the last few weeks and really, without Messi, has been the one guy that Barcelona can look to for a consistent performance. It's exactly what we're expecting, it's exactly what they paid for, and it's really good to see him develop so well. But talking of Barcelona, they are in the start of our transfer roundup today, as apparently the club are looking at Jose Luis Gaya and Marcos Alonso to fill that left back position. Elsewhere, Fernando Llorente has joined Udinese on an 18-month deal. Bayer Leverkusen have completed the signing of Celtic fullback Jeremy Frimpong. And lastly but not least, talking of Thomas Tuchel earlier in the video, according to Bild in Germany, Dayot Upamecano is still on the radar of the German manager. Actually, talking of that, Angelina did a fantastic top 5 video the other day, which you can find right here, discussing all of Chelsea's potential transfer targets. That's all from me then. Make sure you check out everything else we've got going on at OneFootball by clicking here. Let me know your thoughts down below, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.